This is owned and operated by the Motor City Theatre Organ Society, all volunteers. In the beginning, we had big arguments about whether we should buy or not buy. And the arguments were, we're amateurs, we don't know how to run a theater. One faction said, no, we don't know how. The other faction said, so what? We'll figure it out.
Well, I grew up on Westbrook, which is a couple blocks away, and this was my neighborhood movie theater. I saw several Jerry Lewis movies. I saw Jerry Lewis in person here. We repainted the walls back to what they were in '28. We stripped everything down, made copies of the original stencils, reapplied everything. So what you see in the theater is a representation of what it was in 1928. I actually asked George to help me with a Christmas set, and one of the things I had him do was he painted a brick wall for me. He wanted to use a stencil, which wasn't working, so he ended.
You said it wasn't going to work.
It wasn't going to work. So we ended up taking a piece of sponge and cutting it right size using maroon paint, and he dipped it and did each brick individually.
I don't know how many bricks I painted, but it was a lot.
A lot. And I thank you for that, George.
This was the first theater the Goldberg family, Community Theaters, had purchased in 1931. So they had a soft spot in their heart for the place. They always came back to the Redford. That was where it all started. So they felt that we would be the best stewards for the place. They approached the organ club, announced their plans. They were closing the theater down. They were getting out of these big single auditorium theaters. And what did we know about taking over a theater? Well, luckily enough of us were in favor of it, and young and enthusiastic and probably naive enough that we said, let's just do it. So we were doing these children's matinees, and we were doing all of these B-list kids movies that were, you knew the name. It would be like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It wasn't the Disney version, of course, because that was locked away by Disney. It was, and I'm not exaggerating, there were films released on the K-Tel label that were made in Germany like a decade prior and badly dubbed in English. And this is our product, this is what we're selling. And Snow White looked a little more like Brunhilde than Snow White, and some pretty freaky looking dwarfs. But we still had 400 or 500 people for a show, and of course we featured the organ. We always featured the organ before, and that started the film thing going here, which is what the theater was built to do. This ginormous movie screen, which hadn't been raised in 30 years, and made the stage operational again so that we could use the stage for rentals.
2 years ago I joined Rotary, which is a organization, a charitable organization that tries to help bolster the community. And one of the things I thought this would be a great marriage to be able to bring two of my loves together. One, helping people in the medical field, but also the organ. So tonight, what really brought us here is we thought this would be a great way to do what's called a friend raiser, and that is to just raise awareness of some of the charity work that we do in Rotary. Motor City Theatre Organ Society is a really perfect marriage of two charitable organizations. Because as I'm sure you know, the Redford Theatre, all of it is voluntary.
So over the past couple of years, we invited Mary Badham to come for To Kill a Mockingbird, which was a huge success. Tippi Hedren came to the theater for The Birds. She spoke about the film, she spoke about her experience with working with Mr. Hitchcock. She signed autographs in the theater, and her line was probably 200 deep at each show. And it was a knockout success. We sold out on Saturday night, so it was a wonderful experience. What we're trying to do is keep the legacy of classic film alive, and also continue to make this not only just a place to come on a Saturday night, but to have a truly unique experience each time you come. We wish people happy birthday, we wish people happy anniversary, we sing to them, we invite groups to come and just enjoy the experience together, and that's what we think sets us apart.
Walther, have been involved probably about 30 years, up in the projection booth, around 25. and we began coming here to the movies, and eventually found my way up to the projection booth. Like many of the people at the Redford, all of us have several duties. I also take care of the website and taking care of the emails, secretary of the board of directors. So there's always a number of things to be filled, and it's just a matter of time and how much energy you can put into different things.
Hello, I'm Carl Keeler, the volunteer manager at the most unique theater in the United States. One of the most unique things we sell are the sweet potato cookies, which are baked right across the street. And they are very popular with all the people that come here. The concession stand kept us going for many years, and now the theater is self-supporting, and this is augmenting our future. I often think, well, it's been a lot of work, but when that organ comes up and everybody comes in the door and they're smiling and happy, it makes everything worthwhile.